Hello and welcome back to freeCodeCamp's Applied Accessibility section. This is Improve Form Field Accessibility with the Label Element. Improving accessibility with semantic HTML markup applies to using both appropriate tag names as well as attributes. The next several challenges cover some important scenarios using attributes in forms. The label tag wraps the text for a specific form control item, usually the name or label for a choice. This ties meaning to the item and makes the form more readable. The for attribute on a label tag explicitly associates that label with the form control and is used by screen readers. You learned about radio buttons and their labels in a lesson in the basic HTML section. In that lesson, we wrapped the radio button input element inside a label element along with the label text in order to make the text clickable. Another way to achieve this is by using the for attribute as explained in this lesson. The value of the for attribute must be the same as the value of the ID attribute of the form control. Here's an example. We have a form. Within that form, we have a label which says name, and the for attribute is also name. Here we see the ID is also the same as our for attribute. Camper Cat expects a lot of interest in his thoughtful blog posts and wants to include an email sign-up form. Add a for attribute on the email label that matches the ID on its input field. So if we zoom out of here, we can first identify the email label that matches the ID. So we have a label here that says email. If we start up here, we have a form. Within our form, we have this label called email. There's no attribute there yet, and we know that there should be one that matches that ID, so for is assigned email. Let's bring this out. So we have our label. It has its attribute of email, which matches the ID of email, and that should be all it's asking us for here. Let us run this. We did pass. So the important thing, let us go through this again. We talk about how in a previous lesson we had wrapped a radio button inside of a label element. So the same way that in that lesson we wrapped the radio button element inside the label element, here we're going to use the for attribute, and that allows us to identify with this input here. So as long as we're understanding that, we're getting this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.